Everybody see the
Yes.
screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, welcome to this demo. This is not a demo. It's just to get introduced to the trainer. I'm your trainer. My name is Lalit Ahuja, and I am a certified business analyst. I also have PMI ACP certification, and I'm a Scrum Master, certified Scrum Master as well. I'm working as a business analyst, consulting, and I provide training at ITBMS exclusively. We have this batch for BA cum QA, which is spread across 5 weekends, basically. If there's no long weekend, sometimes if there's a long weekend, then people have plans, so we keep it an off day on that long weekend. Other than that, it's a continuous 5 weeks training, weekends basically, 5 weekends training. So first 3 weekends are concentrated towards business analysis techniques, deliverables, how you create those deliverables, those documents, what are your job responsibilities, role, what are your day-to-day activities, how you conduct them as a business analyst. Okay, and then rest of the 2 weekends we talk about QA methodologies, their deliverables, what all is you're supposed to do as a QA analyst or quality analyst. So that is basically the breakdown of the entire five weeks. It's a classroom training, but if someone is remote, they can join in via conference call as well. Can everybody put their phones on mute? If you are logging in from the computer, please mute your audio so that the rest of the class do not hear the background sound. Whenever you have to speak, you can unmute your phone or your speaker phones, okay?
Okay.
So I was saying that it's a 5-weekend class. 3 weekends are concentrated on business analysis, and rest of the 2 weekends are on QA. It's a classroom training. We get together in the classroom in Edison ITBMS office, and we have the class. However, if you are a little far and you prefer to be online, you can also join the training by GoToMeeting. And before every class, Neela sends out the link, and you can join from the way you joined today. You can join in, and you can attend the class remotely as well. Okay. It's a 5 hours class every day. Whenever we meet on Saturday and Sunday, we have a couple of breaks. So we are considered that way. And we may want to make sure that whatever is being taught, you are able to grasp it, understand it. And so even though 5 weeks is a short duration, but we try to cover as much as possible in the training. So whatever we discuss in the classroom, the slides or PowerPoint presentation or the training material, you get it via email, and Neela sends it to you to the entire classroom. Whatever has been discussed in the class, whatever presentations or text or training material has been discussed in the classroom, you get the copy of it, and you can review it later after the class as well. We also do a mini project within the classroom. So towards the 2nd or 3rd week, actually to be very honest, on the 2nd week, we start doing activities. So first week, we talk about the basics, and I provide you the information about methodologies of BA, business analysis, how you conduct the requirement sessions, how you talk to the business users, and what are the various channels you can adopt. And then from 2nd week onwards, we start doing activities so that it's not just me talking, it's interactive sessions, and you have to do something, and there are a lot of activities in the classroom from 2nd week in itself, and you guys have to do the class activities in the classroom. Okay, so we do a mini project in the classroom, and then we review it next weekend as and when you're ready with the deliverables. So this way it is learning as well as the real-time experience as well. So whatever documents or deliverables or your whatever is expected out of you, first I give you the basic overview about it. We go over the slides. Then I show you the real-time documents, so you can touch and feel it. You know how it is, how those deliverables are created, and then I ask you to do yourself as well, so that you have like the complete understanding of what you are doing, why you are doing, at what point you have to do, and how it is created. So we go over the basics, and then you see the real-time project documents, deliverables, and then you create it yourself, and then we review them. So it's a complete life cycle of how you should go about what you have to do as your roles and responsibilities. Okay. So this is the overview of the 5 weeks training. Before I go ahead and provide you a little bit more details, can I hear a little bit about you guys as well, and what brings you to the BA training? So we'll start with Bindu. I see that name on the top, so let's start with Bindu. You can just tell me your full name and your career background, what is your educational background, and what you're doing right now, if at all you're doing any job, any IT exposure, any IT experience, and what brings you to the BA or MBA and QA class, just briefly. Bindu, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear?
Okay.
Can
Yes.
you hear me? Yeah. I'm basically, I have done my engineering, and later on I have done my MBA. So I have both the technical as well as business knowledge. I was basically in the energy domain. So I want to pursue this training because that would do justice to both of my technical as well as the business skills. That's why I'm here. And for the IT exposure, I have some knowledge of business analysis since I was preparing for this BCS certification while I was in London. But I moved to US, so I did not take the exam.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you have any experience working in IT or business analyst or QA?
No, not much in IT, but yeah, initially I was into an electronics company, so I was into like process mapping and making the process charts, and even eliciting the requirements from the users. Like,
Okay.
it was so not very much, but yeah, I know the process.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, that will be helpful. Okay. Okay, good. So, Isma?
Yes, hi, my name is Isma, and my background, I have a bachelor's in finance and public policy. I've worked in banking before with JP Morgan, and then I worked in some legal settings, but I had a baby, as you can hear, and so I haven't been working for the last 3 years. I've been at home, so I'm doing the BA analysis because I want to have a more IT component to my education, and I haven't worked in the IT setting. I worked in a finance and just corporate setting, but not in a, so I don't have any IT experience, and I'm looking to get that and then hopefully find a job within that.
Okay, good. Okay, that's good. Laura? Laura, can you hear me? Are you on mute? Can you hear me, Laura? Okay, we'll get back to her later. Maybe she's on mute. Is it someone called Soumya on call? I see that name, but I didn't hear from her. Okay, Yogita?
Yeah. Hi. I'm Yogita Pandit, and I'm a BCom graduate. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. and I have done a diploma in software testing, and in that I was working in a banking domain. And now for last 1 year I am at home since I have moved to US. So I was working in India as a software tester, and now I'm taking this training to get a job here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have some QA experience. That's good.
Yeah.
So, and what's your educational background?
I'm a BCom graduate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we could not hear from Laura, and I see one name called Soumya. But as soon as you can speak up, you can unmute your phone, or if you have any difficulty, let me know.
Hi, this is Soumya here.
Hi, Soumya.
Hi, I'm currently working in ITBMS and I'm the training coordinator there. So I'm just going to be following the training as well. Hi to everybody who attended the orientation today. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Laura, can you hear me? I don't know if she's on mute because I can see her name on the list and she says I cannot hear you, but can you dial in again, Laura, if you have any problem in the line, or are you from phone or from system? If you can dial in again to the same number and see if you can hear us. Okay, so we will not go in much detail today. It was just introduction and to know each other, and also if you have any follow-up questions, any kind of questions. Before even I start, do you have any kind of any questions that you want to ask even before we start the small orientation program that we're going to go over on next 5 weeks? Just let me know. You can send me a message in the chat window. You can stop me. You can unmute yourself and ask me a question, but I will keep some time towards the end. We will not go into the details of the training today. This is just to give you an overview and clarify any questions or any kind of queries that you guys have today. Okay. So, role of a business analyst. As I said, first 3 weekends are concentrated towards business analyst. And so we'll talk about the role of a business analyst, what they do, what they are supposed to deliver in terms of documents or their roles and responsibilities. But primarily, what exactly is the goal when you are working as a business analyst on a project? So basically, you work as a liaison or a bridge between the business and the IT team, and you have to fill that gap between the two communities, basically the business users and the development team or the IT team or the project team, and understand the business, their processes, rules, and the requirements. So basically, if there's a project and we are creating some kind of a solution in the form of software or a process, as a business analyst, you're supposed to understand the rules and business rules and their governing principles of that business, and understand what that business is all into. So let's say, for example, if you're working in Bank of America, or if you're working for some healthcare organization, you have to understand what are their day-to-day work processes, how they work, how they do their business, what are the business rules, okay, and become the subject matter expert of that business. It's not that you will become in the first week or first day, but in a couple of months, as and when you talk to the business users, you talk to the business sponsors, you understand what is this project all about, what line of businesses this company is into, what core functionality or core services or core product they build, and you understand their day-to-day workflows, how they create and how they do their business, and so that you can explain those things to the IT team. So that's why I say it's a role of a liaison or a bridge between the two ends, and you act as a bridge between them. So you represent the IT team to business users. So when you go and talk about the requirements, their needs, their software requirements, then you are the person who's talking on behalf of IT, and it's the same vice versa. When you are an IT team, your team, then you are providing the business knowledge, and then you're representing the business community to the IT team. So again, I will say it's the role of a bridge between the business users and the IT developers, QA testers, and the project team. But ultimately, what is expected out of you is, as I said, become the subject matter expert of the business processes, their flows, their workflows, their day-to-day business rules, how they conduct the business, what they do. And that will happen when you talk to them, you conduct meetings with them, you ask pertinent questions, and that's how you will get all the knowledge about the business. Okay, and so why you should become a business analyst. So the first point to say is a good business analyst does not necessarily need to be technically strong. If you have some technical background, your education, by your work experience, if you have some coding experience, project management experience, QA experience, any kind of technical experience, that is, of course, it's a given that it's a plus. It's going to be in your favor. You will have a smooth, working, because you are working at the end of the day in IT team. You're working as IT project. So if you have any technical background, be it educational or experience, then definitely it's going to be, a plus point for you. However, having said that, it is not mandatory that you should have a coding experience or QA experience or architectural experience. So it's more about how you communicate. It's more about how you produce the documents that you're supposed to produce, and it's more about how you convey the requirements from business users to the IT team, and then when the software has been coded as per the requirement, you make sure that it's been properly tested and it's been deployed, and business users are happy at the end of the project. Okay. So no technical background is mandatory, but it's always good to have that. When you work as a BA, generally these jobs are not outsourced because of the reason by now you know that you have to work closely with the business users who are, the companies are here. So even if the coding or QA or quality assurance is outsourced, the business analyst has to work very closely with the business users. So they will have to be on site, and they would have to work very closely. Only then they would be able to convey and communicate the business requirements and convert them into software requirements and ensure that the software which is being built is as per the business needs, and this is what business actually wanted, and this solution is going to serve the purpose of business. So more and more development work is being outsourced, and that's the reason that BA role becomes more strong and it becomes more prominent in any organization, because that's when the role of a bridge becomes more important, because you have to convey the information, the requirements that you spoke with the business users, and that's how you will convey it to the developers and the rest of the IT team. Okay. And in any project, the role of BA tends to have longest tenure. Why I say that is because usually there's a misconception that once the requirements are done and we have understood the requirements and they're documented, and that's the end of the BA role, which is a complete myth, because even from the inception phase, when the project is not even started, we have not even doing any coding or development, from inception of the project to the analysis phase, that's where the BA role becomes more prominent. They gather the requirements, they analyze them, elicit them, and then document them, review it with the business users and the IT team. And going forward, when the software is being developed, their role becomes more prominent because by now, business analyst has all the knowledge about the requirements, and they would be able to help and guide the IT team better on how to proceed with the development and what kind of features and functionalities are required for this software to be implemented. And same thing for the testing. So when the testing happens, even for testing of the software, the business analyst is required to make sure that all the scenarios are covered. We are testing, we have all the test cases ready, and all the requirements are covered, and everything that was in scope of the project is coded, and nothing which is out of scope, which is not in scope for this project, has been created, because we do not want to go out of the scope for this project. Any project, be it IT or non-IT, any project means it has a start date and it must have an end date. If it is an ongoing thing, it is not a project. And most of the times when projects fail, the major reason is that there's a scope creep, meaning that there's no one who controls the scope, and the requirements are coming from all over the place, and we don't know what we are doing, and then it keeps on going on and on and on, and ultimately the funds are exhausted and we have no funds, and the project is at the brink of failure and the project gets scrapped ultimately. So making sure that everything which is being coded and which is being tested and which is going to be deployed in production, everything, all the features and functionalities which were in scope are present, and whatever was not in scope is not present. So all these things, there is a complete team, project manager, QAs, solution architects, development lead, BA. It's a complete team, and everybody is there to, as a team, to make sure that all these things that we just discussed are there. But BA, since they work both with the business as well as IT, their role becomes more prominent to ensure that everything which is in scope is being built and as per the requirements, and anything which is not in the scope is not being discussed and being developed. So that's why I say that the BA role tends to be the longest in any project, because right from the inception of the project, when we not even, it's not approved and it's still in inception phase, we are just thinking about it. Right from then the BA role starts, and until it has been deployed, it's in production. Even after post-production support, the BAs and QAs are required for making sure that no issues are coming in the software that has been deployed, or if there are any enhancements or new modifications needs to be done to the software. Even after production, the post-production support, the BAs are required for any project. Okay. So that's where that role becomes more prominent. What makes you a good BA? You should have, or if not, then develop good communications, documentation, interpersonal skills. Okay. So there's another myth about being BA, that BAs are there to document all the requirements. That is true, but that's not entirely true, because just documenting the requirements is not all. It's not all. As a business analyst, you have to understand the requirements, analyze them, ask pertinent questions, go into the root cause analysis of the problem that the business is facing, and then after thorough analysis, documentation, review of the requirement, get the sign-off or approval that this is what I understand, this is what our understanding is, and once we have the sign-off on the requirements, we go ahead and do the development or coding of that software. So documentation is one teeny part of that role, but after documentation also, we have to ensure that those requirements are communicated well. In the IT team, everybody understands the requirements and the development is happening as per the business requirements and business needs. Analytical thinking, problem solving, negotiation, decision making, facilitation skills. So, did someone just join the call? I hear a lot of commotion here. Did someone just join the call? Okay, if everybody can put their phone on mute, that would be great because we're getting a lot of background sound. So yeah, so problem solving, of course, we can't always come up with the problems. We have to come up with solution as well. So a troubleshooter, someone who is there to resolve the problems as well. That kind of attitude is required. Rather than, always being cranky or cribbing or coming up with the problem to a project manager. It's more about teamwork, so come up with the solutions as well. Ability to ask questions. So we understand that, business users, they are doing their job since 10 years, 5 years, 15 years, or whatever. But until and unless you understand it, you need to question that process. You need to ask why we do it, what if we don't do it, if this particular process or business process flow, if we are not performing this step, what happens, why it is so necessary. So ask them questions just for your understanding. Sometimes business users are just blindly following certain process flows which do not make any sense in today's world, or they were told like 5 or 10 years back and they continue to do certain processes which have no relevance in today's world. So we have to ask why they are doing, just for introspection for themselves, and then to give us the answer so we understand it clearly, what is the importance of one particular workflow, and we can document that as well. So you do not document anything which you do not understand or which doesn't make sense to you. Having said that, it doesn't mean that you are questioning their capability, that you're just doing something which is not useful or it's waste or it's not worth it, but you're just trying to understand what is the relevance in today's world, why we are performing certain workflow, and what that means if we do not do it, and why we need it to automate in the form of software as well. Okay. Active listening, observational skills. So because you are putting your foot in someone else's shoe, you do not perform that role. So it's very important that you have those observational skills, you ask pertinent questions, you are trained to understand someone else's business process flows, and so that's where those analytical and observational skills come into the picture, so that you can grasp easily, you can understand, you pick up their business lingo and their business jargons easily. Okay, capturing the information after validating. So make sure that whatever you understand, you validate with the business users, and that same goes for the IT team as well. So you validate all your information, make sure that your understanding is correct by paraphrasing, and making sure that whatever you got information, your understanding is as per the business users, and you all are on the same page. Okay, so these are skills that are required, and we will develop them over the 5 weeks, but you need to do a lot of more and more of practice, and whatever mini project we do in the classroom, whatever documents I show you, which are real life project documents, so that you're not just trained on theoretical piece of it, you also can touch and feel, and you see the evolving, breathing documents and deliverables of business analyst as well as QA. Okay, so in any project where you go for your first project as a consultant or whatever role, These roles are not just exhaustive lists that, okay, these are the only people you're going to meet. However, in many projects, usually you will definitely see a project manager, a business analyst, or many business analysts. There can be multiple business analysts as well on a project. Systems or solution architect or architects, developers, enterprise architect, QA analyst, database admins, and others. And we'll talk about these roles in detail when we do our detailed training, when we start on day 1. We'll talk about all these roles and how you interact and what are your interactions with these specific roles. We'll have a detailed discussions on each and every role and how you deal with them and what are your interactions on day-to-day basis with them. Okay. Software development lifecycle, we will not go in detail, but as I was saying, that inception phase, as you must have heard from me, inception phase, analysis phase, development and coding and testing and deployment. So we will not go in detail and get you confused, because I have to keep 5 or 10 minutes or more for you guys also at the end. If you have any questions for me, if you have any thoughts or questions or concerns or observations regarding this course or your career, we can take those questions as well. But at a very high level, software development lifecycle in any project, irrespective of the methodologies, and we will also discuss various methodologies in detail when we do the class. Irrespective of methodology, any software development has a life cycle, which means it will have inception phase where the project is not even clear. We don't even know that whether we are going to undertake this project, we are going to do it or not. It's just a kind of a feasibility study that we do as a team. And once the project is approved and we know that, okay, this makes sense that we are going to do this project, this is a profitable project and the business definitely needs this software or application or solution. So the first phase is analysis, where the business analyst, which is you, works with the business users, the subject matter experts, understand their needs, their problems, what they're facing right now. So if there is any older software that they're using, maybe it's very slow, it doesn't serve the purpose, it is not giving them the proper output that they need. With the changing business needs, the software has become outdated and they have various new needs and they want to hop on to a new software or a solution. So in analysis phase, BA will work closely with the business users and understand what exactly that they are looking for in the new solution that this project is going to create. So understand the requirements, their needs, and after thorough analysis, thorough analysis and elicitation of the requirements, you document them, you review it with the team and get the sign-off, make sure that those requirements are as per what they said and that what they meant, and it's clear, crisp, easy to understand in a logical flow, and the document is called BRD, or Business Requirement Document, that we will do in the classroom as well as a part of our mini project. And we'll be looking at a sample document which is from the real life project. We'll be going over that real life project BRD so that you have a clear understanding of not just the theoretical, but also you see the real life project document as well. So we'll do that as part of mini project. So once that is done in analysis phase and you have all the requirements documented properly and you have a complete set of business requirement and technical specifications package, you review it, you get it approved, and then the next phase comes in, which is design phase. And in design phase, the solution architect or the technical leads, based on what the requirements are, what exactly business wants. So that is what is documented in the BRD, or Business Requirement Document. So they come up with the solution, the design, the architectural or blueprinting of the software. So very basic things of what approach we are going to take, what is the solution that we are going to create, what platform, what language, what databases, all those high-level architecture of the software is created with the minimal input of BAs, because you know the business requirement by now after the analysis phase, after having a lot of interactions with the business users. So once the design is created, then is the implementation, in which the actual coding, the actual software is written based on the business requirement that BA wrote and the design document that was created by the tech lead or solution architect or development lead. So based on those business requirements, and here are the guidelines for which technology, which platform, which language you're going to use and all those stuff. And the developers actually write the real code in the implementation phase, where we are actually building the software. And once the software is built based on the BRD or the business requirement document that the BA wrote, then comes the testing phase, because here we have the specifications, and on the other hand we have the software that has been created. And now QA testing team comes into the picture, and they would validate and verify that the software that has been built is as per compliance with the specifications that were wrote by BA in analysis phase. And then the same drill happens, meaning that QA testers check each and every requirement. They create various test cases for each requirement to make sure that each and every scenario is covered in their testing. And if there are any defects or issues or variances, meaning that the software is not built or coded as per the requirements, they log the defects with all the thorough documentation, and those defects goes back to the relevant developer who was responsible for writing the code, and those guys fix the defects. And once the defects are fixed, they come back to the testers, meaning the QA testers, and they again do the retesting of that defect, and if required, regression testing. And we'll talk about all these types of testing when we do the QA part. So they do the retest the defect and perform the regression testing and all. And once everything is tested and there are no more defects in that software, then it is the next phase comes, which is deployment, where we, as a BA, we create the release notes. We say, okay, this is the new software that has been tested, and this will be deployed or implemented on so and so date, and these are the features or known issues, or still the defects are there in that. So whatever information about that software, and on a particular date, with when the users have performed their testing, meaning UAT, which is nothing but user acceptance testing. So users also have to perform testing to make sure that everything is as per their needs and requirements. And once the users also give sign-off or approval on their UAT results, meaning that user acceptance testing has passed, then we are good to go and implement the software. And then that is the end of the software development life cycle. And same life cycle continues for the next project. If there's next project, a new project, same life cycle will continue. Analysis, design, implementation, testing, and deployment. Analysis, design, implementation, testing, and deployment. Then we will talk about, once we're done with this methodology of this, in detail of SDLC or software development life cycle, there are various methods of doing a particular project. Different companies have different criteria, benchmarks, and their needs and requirements. So based on that, we will have a complete discussion about waterfall and agile methodology, and we will take that over on second day of the training. And we'll have detailed discussion about what are your deliverables in a particular methodology, be it waterfall, let's say, and how your role and your deliverables are different in agile methodology. So we'll have two different paths, and we'll take one at a time, and we'll talk about all the deliverables and documents and what are you supposed to do in waterfall as compared to agile, and then we'll pick up agile, and then we'll talk about all those documentations and all those deliverables that you're supposed to do and how they're different. So by the end of second week, we'll be able to distinguish between the two methodologies and how they differ from each other. Okay, and then we'll be in a position to talk about, this is waterfall methodology of doing the SDLC, and this is the agile methodology. There are various other documentation things that you must know as a BA or a QA that we will do in the third and fourth week as well. And then we'll also have a session where we'll talk about the domain-specific information. So we'll have one session on domain. And also we'll talk about various resume preparation pointers, and we'll talk about various questions that can be asked in BA and QA interviews, and we'll go over those list of questions. That is towards the end. Since I am also certified in various BA branches, like I said, CBAP and PMI-ACP, which is Agile Certified Professional, and CSM, which is Certified Scrum Master. So we'll talk about some, some guidance to you guys for certifications, which certifications are available in the market, and what are the procedures, and some overview and guideline about those certifications in BA as well. We'll also have one session where we'll talk about the PMP, which is project management. So what is their role, what they do, and what are they responsible for, and how as a BA or QA you interact with the project manager, and what is the hierarchy there. So this is an overall picture of what we do, what we will do in the complete 5 weeks of training. And after the 5 weeks are over, you guys will have an exit call with me, which will mean that we'll talk about whatever we went over the training period of 5 weeks. We'll go over it, just a recap. In that call, you will be talking more, and I will be listening more, as compared to the 5 weekends where I will be talking, and it will be interactive sessions all the time. But in first 5 weeks, it will be like you asking me questions, and then in the exit call, the tables will turn. So you will be recapping whatever we did in the classroom for the last 5 weeks. And once that exit call is done, then your resume preparation will happen if you continue with ITBMS. Sometimes people say that, okay, we just need the training, and then after that we are good to go, and we are good from there. But if you continue with ITBMS, then we will have resume preparations, we will have a mock call based on the resume that we have come up with, and then your marketing will start. Okay, so I will not go further in this slide. I'll keep some 5 or 7 or 8 or 10 minutes or whatever time you need. If you guys have any questions so far, or whatever I said, or outside of the box, any lingering question that you have about this training or the course or any topic or anything, I just want to keep the stage open for you guys, so you can ask any question.
Hi, this is I had a question about just job placement and how, in your opinion, how easy or hard it is to find a BA analyst job without previous background in the IT industry.
Sure. So is it Isma? Who is?
Yeah,
who is this?
Isma.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So that's a good question, but the answer is not equally good. In a way that what I'm saying is that it all depends on how passionate you are about getting the job and how much hard work that you're going to put in. right? So as you rightly said, few of you guys who do not have IT exposure or do not have any, few of you do not have any kind of a professional experience. So that will base on how much hard work you guys are ready to put in, and based on the market as well. So right now it's good. Right now it is going good, picking up, and it's already picked up. It all depends on how much hard work you have to put in and how much passion you have to do your own research, ask relevant questions, follow up whatever has been taught in from day one and week one, so that you do not trip over, because as I said, it's a fast-paced training. It's a boot camp training. So first week, whatever you learn, you have to make sure you put your hands on, you review the material, you perform the assignments, so that if the basics are clear, then second week will be easier. However, if you just let it go for the first week itself, then in second week you will learn something new, and then it will be difficult for you to pick up the pace. Okay, so it all depends on how much you cope up, how much you grasp, how quickly you take it up. Okay.
This is Bintu. I wanted to ask, like, what all software skills, like you said, like, you don't need any software skills like coding and all. But I think, like, if you know these, like, Visio, or somewhere I was reading, going through these job requirements, if you have this Visual Basic or SQL knowledge, then you definitely have an edge. So what do you think?
That is true. Yeah, so as I said, if you have those skills, those are always added advantage. But we'll be learning Visio, we'll be learning how to create your BRD, BRS. We'll also be learning, and I see a question in the chat room as well. We'll also be not only just learning how to write test cases, we will be actually looking at the real life document, and we'll also be writing them in the classroom, how to write the test cases. So Visio or any other, we'll be going over the screenshots of HPLM, which is nothing but requirements and test cases management tool. We'll be learning that. However, having said that, as you rightly said, that if you have those skill sets, you have knowledge, they're definitely an added advantage.
Okay, but again, if you write, like, if you don't have, then you seem to be quite ignorant in the interview. So definitely we need to know all this stuff.
No. What do you mean?
Like, if you know this stuff, then only you can be, like, all the more confident if you have the database knowledge and all.
That will depend on the requirement that you're applying for. You would not be applying if it is a mandatory skill that they need an SQL server or any coding language. If that is the mandatory skill they're asking for, and I can tell you that for a business analyst role, these are not the mandatory skills. There are specific requirements because their pay rate is different, their contracting terms are different. So if that is a mandatory requirement, then you're not at all eligible to apply for that requirement, and we would not recommend you to apply for that if you're not comfortable with the requirement. So the requirement that you will be applying for would be a purely mid-level to junior level business analyst, where it is a purely functional business analyst role, and it is not a business system analyst role or a systems analyst role where you need the technical skill sets. If that is the requirement, we will not be submitting you for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So this training is all about manual testing?
Yes, this is the testing that we're going to learn is manual testing. This is not automated testing, and we are not, if we do not have coding knowledge or writing the script, we are not even authorized to do that. So it is a manual testing that we are going to learn, and you will be applying for manual QA tester jobs.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so who else has a question? So I heard from Bindu, I heard from Isma, and I heard from Yogita as well. I have not heard from Laura. Laura, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so good. Do you have any question so far?
Not today.
Okay. Okay, so before we call it a day, does anyone have any other question?
Yeah, I have one more query. Like I was saying that these skills you said they are not mandatory, but if they are desirable and we don't have these skills, then the chances would be somewhat bleak.
Yeah, that's true.
What you
That's
say?
obvious. If
Because there are so many people applying, so if
that's
definitely
true, but
there are
that's when I
people who
said
are,
that. Right. So that's what I'm saying. That is where your skill set or your grasping power comes into the picture. If you think that, okay, I need to have some more skill sets, this is a pure vanilla flavor of training that we are giving you the skill sets of, becoming from,
so we need
let's
to
say,
add the topic.
if you do wish and you have those resources, good for you. I mean, that's always, as I said in the beginning, that's always a better deal. But I'm saying that in my experience of 10 years, it's not a mandatory skill for a BA always. There are certain requirements where they want everything under the sun, which you will not be able to do it in your first project. So you're getting a skill set of a QA, you're getting a skill set of a BA, you're learning the deliverables that you're supposed to do, you're doing that in the classroom. But beyond and above that, you want to learn PM project management, you want to learn coding, you cannot do everything in 5 weeks.
Yeah, that is it.
Right? So there's always a starting point, and that's the starting point that you're getting. And after that, it's up to individual level how you want to groom yourself. Okay?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, Soumya, do you have anything for this call? You there, Soumya? Okay, if
Yes.
no one has any further
I'm here.
question. Okay, do you have anything for the?
No, I'm all set, Lalit. Thank you.
Okay,
I was actually
sure.
on mute, so.
Yeah, no problem. So, okay, if you have no questions, then we'll call it a day, and you can get in touch with Neela or Soumya, and they will be able to provide you any other information that you need going forward. Okay?
Okay.
All right then. Good night, everybody.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tata.